Let's talk about the movie Brick House Bandit. Uncle Tommy, literally Trozilla, living downstairs. This is an idea I had, back in 2021, where I put Stommy, Steve for American Dad, as my uncle Tommy Thomas Beecher. All right, and it's based off a lot of things. Okay, I know literally, you got conjobulated in the channel. The trick to MLP is confuse people. Okay, now when it actually though gets down to the criteria, all right, this is a mirage. Or a mirage is something in the ocean, and when something in the ocean rotates and floats, literally it creates literally a scene of imagination, literally in parallel universes, literally for everybody, because a star is actually required for you to enter into another universe. There's this thing called dimensions, okay? Literally, I know there's this thing called dimensions in Tut, alright, that you don't understand, from a long being. So the movie is about Tut, alright? Literally, so my Uncle Tommy was a Beastie Boy. It has a lot to do, literally, with the choreography in the movie, alright? Because his character, Uncle Tommy, who's a parody of Master Roshi, does a Beastie Boy move and then catches you off guard. Like, he does that move, then he drops a ball on you like Frieza, okay? Literally, so then he shakes, he vibrates, literally, and, he runs towards you, he kicks you in the nuts, he does a whole lot of shit in the movie. But the meaning of this video is that people don't know how the movie is actually choreographed, okay? The meaning of this video is that Gabaya, me, Eris Moody, based off, Gabaya Moody to my comic book, okay? Sorry, that was 100% necessary. Anyway, this is the Moody thing that I drew way back in the day. This is what Brick House Bandit is based off of, because I'm the one who came up with the idea, and I'm a couple of voice actors in the movie. I'm especially Zap. So Zap is a parody of Zap's Bell. He has two hairs really stick at the end. A very original anime character, but this is how the movie is originally crafted. Okay, so when it comes to his nephew Goodbye Brioto, the movie starts off literally with him knocking the door, Stommy answering, literally, and Goodbye and Stommy have a good conversation. He talks about bands, maybe Ectoman is one of them, but they talk literally about how he's a perfect, how he's fooling Goodbye, literally, don't touch my merchandise, this and that, don't touch my porn, literally, don't touch my mail, literally, he goes off, there's certain things literally where he does, head movements, head adjustments. So the movie is about him, warning people about Brick House Bandit, alright? Because Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo is a parody of Belle Biv DeVoe. If you actually know Dragon Ball Z, the creator Akira Toriyama, Bibbidi is a character, Bobby is a character, and Boo is a character based off literally the Wizard of Oz. Maybe Alice in Wonderland, but it starts off really. It's a parody movie. Literally, he is dancing with all the famous anime characters, including Naruto. Shippuden Naruto only. I want simply Naruto to do the top. All right, literally, I want Shippuden Shikamaru. I obviously want the Red Vegeta, which is also a Mirage. All right, literally, I want Zap, and also Yugi Moto's in there. I'm a big Yu-Gi-Oh fan. I play Yu-Gi-Oh a lot on my channel. Go look up videos. Any way, shape, or form. Tricks Yu-Gi-Oh! Alright? So anyway, so Yugi's gonna do a ton in the movie, Zap's gonna do a ton in the movie, Shikamaru's gonna do a ton in the movie, and the greatest thing about this one, alright, is that he's gonna be the one rotating it. Now the thing really what happened, guys, in real life is that, in actuality, I'm not afraid to say it, but he put me in the hospital, okay? After being the man on set, literally, after being the man Funimation for over 4 years, I'd be a guy named Gom in a cartoon versus battle. When he chose Justice League, I chose Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. I had this funny way of getting inside. I would play around, with people in the company. Like Alberto chose Batman Beyond. I chose Kogias for the Lucifer Rebellion. I was a very, strict, hard, cold fighter in real life. And the actual real story behind it, alright, literally was, I came out him wearing a building in real life. Literally was Sion jacket. Literally, how everybody's, embarrassed, to wear teal. I yelled at him wearing teal. Literally, and, what ended up happening was, they ended up butchering him over time. I think, they killed him for incognito. But what actually happened, alright, I'm not afraid to say this, alright, literally, is that literally the truth of the God duty is what he did, was he put me in a situation in a generation where gangsters can't get low to get rid of the ego, or, the suicidal way of living, because literally they got so, there's some gangsters that have a funk with me, down today, literally, and you actually want to stop this beautiful movie from happening. You're fucking out of your mind, alright, literally, so, when he said that, literally, when I left, literally, what he did was he called me out, when I was in the middle of having sex, and, what ended up happening was, I took it as a joke at first because obviously, Steve for American Dad, the mentor, there goes CeeLo, our dog in the backyard, don't ride for Family Guy included, but, the truth of it is I'm a writer, all right? I wrote the whole comic book, the main character, so Brickhouse Bandit stars around a series of nods. So the title is Nods, Brickhouse Bandit. That's the main universe, and all the other universes are intertwined. And it's also, Goku is also started a film where his brother Raditz, older brother Raditz, playing the guitar. Alright, so I learned how to speak professionally to Geek Done 101. You know this thing called Camp Sweeney? I was at the Camp Sweeney kids lately when I fought my uncle because I was Yacha. I do a hip hop dance lately, just like the anime character. I was being Neji earlier. You see how I'm cool this now? I have an anime character called Skills. It sees Boomer, Boomer Red Dodgers, main girlfriend in a series of nods. And so, what ends up happening, right? Literally, it's obviously, there's gonna be a flip around. The reason why I said this is because, I lived in a generation that ruined the idea. Because what happened, literally, when he called me out, literally, one day, was I started dance for a girl named Yessie. Literally, and I'm also a co-producer. So the movie starts off with Gabaya, literally, with his sleeves, literally, just hanging like dreadlocks, literally, going up to Augustani. Literally, he's explaining everything. My mom may or may not be in the movie. That's the whole point of the video. But the main point, literally, is that he locked me, in a gangster statement. Because, of course, literally, I was expecting him to call me crackhead, literally. I let him call me crackhead, but the biggest thing, literally, is in my head, I was working with all those people from Funimation. So what ends up happening, right, literally, is that forget crack your head in a ball like Frieza. Literally, he's the man, he just shit throughout the whole movie because all he does is lies. Literally, he lies about Lily Brickhouse Bandit. He lies about Lily, his ability to attack. He lies about this, and that. Literally, he lies about Kabaya and Cream losing touch and zap. Alright, so literally, I'm gonna put it like this: since I don't want people to be retarded for this video, I'm gonna flat out say that literally, when it came to defining shit, he defined me as a gangster because I'm a very calm and collected gangster. So during the boxing class, I just played with Tommy Hearns literally in Fight Night. And what his class is it goes around literally and plays around with your perception, but also goes straight at the same time. He's also linear. I used to have a best friend named James who was also linear, and what linear means is no matter how much straight shit I do, literally there's a toothpick at the end. That's the actual definition of a person, guys. Literally, so what ends up happening, through and through. Literally, it's my class. Literally was meant to be slow to outweigh his class in real life. Literally, so what he ended up doing was he ended up calling, everything, out. Like, me not getting, a job for over 3 years. Literally, he ended up, getting an ultimate street statement. When I had things to expand, like, Nokia, my anime, my music, the way I made music, literally, I escalated the characters by creating the shopping mall where 3 girls to find each other. Literally, I did a whole lot to, escalate things, and nothing expanded because of gangster and the ego. The gangster didn't want to believe that somebody could beat their family, genuinely. Alright, so I got stuck, in the Vario to Full Ontario to Megalodon, It doesn't matter if I go to San Francisco. It doesn't matter if I do the most anime thing of all time. His Bopper Wave is there to call out, you not doing the dishes, but doing the dishes, in actuality, because in reality, I was in charge of all the members, so I did is I ran a school. Literally, when I got to the hood, I made everybody dance, literally, but what happened was the police were too cowardly, because I know how some police act versus other police. I understand that these, specific police, that still Ivy, literally, when you feel echo to his name, or jealous, or jealous of my sex, or jealous of my sex ability, or jealous of my manliness, alright? And the other ones, that's the next game. He's short, literally, people fuck with him in high school, literally. That's why he has every ability has a counter, situation, literally. I mean, he's telling you, you call out the perfect guys, literally, he's called out his gap. This, and that. And I haven't gone to the city, by the way. So anyway, what ends up happening, right, literally, is that, they play a game with Samurai Jack, where the other ones are holding me to the military, they're holding me to being a good person, alright? So, in reality, he got away with the biggest restatement of all time, because I have a big leg come to you when it comes to women, literally, because I knew too much, because I had too many people who loved me for who I really was, because I really had shit, and I had the opportunity to get real money, and knew how to spend it, right? Literally, what he did was he called me a crackhead, got the greatest street statement of all time after I do War Martial Arts to him, and I was Frank Gibson. In the reality show Foundation, I was the guy named Frank Gibson who split his hair in half like Future Trunks back when I had hair. Literally, I was faster than Tommy. Literally, I was calmer than Tommy. Literally, nothing like the situation right now downstairs, alright? Literally, so Gabaya is his name. Literally gets better throughout the movie, and these characters are actually starred, Deku, Todoroki, and Bakugo, wearing red shoots, obviously, or tutting alongside with Shikamaru, this and that. He even has, a prompt. Literally, stop, stop, pop like, stop this and that. Alright, but what you didn't know, the biggest thing of this video is that his touch are going to be defining. His touch are going to be Tyrone, guys. Literally, because his touch literally going to be defining literally about why it's rich and why it's Reese. So this is the egg, and this is the big cold case literally in the film, alright? My character Zap was gonna have the countless most touch that were better than him, literally almost on par with Yukimoto's, and Zap was the one with the hair like this, alright? So Zap was gonna have, all the touch, being better, than Okustami, literally, and he was something that, Tommy couldn't beat in the reality show, alright? Literally, it was funny, I fucked her Lisa, fucked her Gama, fucked her Yessie, I did all that shit, and the problem, was, it made for right people. The reason why I'm saying this because it's more, a generational thing. It was a generational problem. A gangster cannot, let go of the ego for common sense. And, things like a college degree, and all these things are supposed to outweigh a gangster, but it doesn't, literally. I'm like, man, you're fucking crazy, because a gangster has a way of fooling you into being saying, oh, all these things come from the devil, this and that. So in the middle of the Flip-A-Rama, literally, we get, idea I had, literally, when you fuse, Cell and Shadow together, and it's also Zaf Robin. Literally, and he also said in Death Bell, so I think it's 78% confirmed. What I'm talking about, literally, with police trip about Samurai Jack, right? That means literally, they do something without seeing things through and through. So I perform through and through in order for them to have common sense, but common sense isn't being displayed. Alright, literally, so what ends up happening is he ends up being the hero, right? But he's comes literally, he's dripping all over the fucking place. Literally, and how I came at him was the ability of Shinobu from Demon Slayer, which is also Mirage. So My Hero Academia is a Mirage, and because that is the Mirage, there's multiple Mirages in the movie. So what ends up happening is this world has to split apart because the generation doesn't want to change. Because the reason why I didn't beat him was because the cringe was also part of his character. He was strong and technical. If you haven't fucking noticed, literally the whole thing of this video and movie literally is that he is strong, but I am 10 times stronger. Okay, so it's true. Literally, he even admitted himself. Literally, even admitted a ghost. He didn't let me fight back. But again, Lionel's up there. That's a big explanation for a movie. But anyway, that is the truth about Brick House Bandit.